Welcome back, boys and girls. My name's Steve Niemeyer. I'm here with you, HCRD.online, and I am back in the studio. No Chromebook involved in this one, and I need to do something for you. I've been jumping around a lot. I know we were talking radio stories, and then I stopped and we did some prostate cancer communications, and I got some more news on that. So I've been dropping information pretty much live in this part of the journey. And I'm going to have my family talk, and it's going to be interesting to tackle the emotional stuff that everybody goes through with prostate cancer, the entire family. But I was uploading some videos. I said, hey, YouTube, have these. And it said, that's not the right format. And so I said, how do I do this? And Richard said, just download the MP4 and upload it to him, and it'll be awesome. And I said, that's it? He goes, yeah, Riverside will do that. And I said, okay, well, I need to play with this a little bit more and learn some more tricks of the trade. But as I was going through that, in one of the stories about radio, I mentioned that we had learned the bra story. And I said I was going to talk to you about it later. And you don't have to get scared and turn the podcast off because we're talking about bras, but what we're going to do is just do some mental math, and we're going to walk you through what happened. A little backstory. This was not a client at the radio station that I worked for. He was GM of the radio station, and he was doing a little sales pitch trying to get our brains active in the morning. And so we were drinking coffee and we were sitting through this presentation. And he said, all right, guys, have I ever told you the bra story? And we're all, what? And so we had that same thought pattern, like, what are we talking about, man? We're a mixed company, stop. And he said this was a lady that owned a bra store. She specialized in bras. She had some candles and other knick-knacky things in there, but for the most part, it was a store that women went to buy bras. And they were having issues with trying to make more money. And they said, you know what? When we're thinking about selling the business, we're going to just have to hang it up because there's nobody buying bras anymore. What are you talking about? There's a lot of people buying bras. In fact, they sell them every day, and you confusing me. Said, well, we're not selling the amount of bras we used to sell because there's so many options now. And so this is where the story gets interesting. I said, well, when you say that, let's do some math. All right. And I said mental math, but I just need to write down what I'm telling you in case we have to come back to it. But we're going to say that they are in a town. He said, how many people live in your selling area? Not just in the town, but people that would come to your store to purchase bras. Where do you think that boundary line is, and how many people live inside that boundaries? She goes, well, there's 20,000 people. And he goes, okay, 20,000 people. So if we were going to do an easy split, we're going to say that there's 10,000 women. All right. And then when we look at that, we're going to have to say, well, there's some that aren't of bra wearing age. Right. So we have to think about that too, because although the ages differ, obviously, with the child in their training attire, but when you start thinking about, hey, I'm going to go buy bras, what if we had 8,000 people, women out there that are going to purchase bras because that's what they do. And I know our numbers are low. And I said we're going to make it mental math, and it's going to be a little tougher to do this way. But we say, wait a second. All right, so if we have 8,000 bra purchasing women in your service area of your store, you say you have all this competition, so who's your competition? And they said, well, they can go to Walmart, or they can go to J.C. Penney's, or they can even go to the dollar store. So we're writing all these down. We're going through the process. And you said, well, you have about 8,000 people out there. How many bras on average does a woman buy per year? Do they buy 1, 2, 3, 5, 10? How many bras are you going to wear? And so, well, I've had this one for however long. How many did you buy to get to that one? I'm just trying to figure out a number. And if we say, you know what, they buy 3 point something. So every woman out there is going to buy bras. So in a year, 25,000 bras being purchased. So 25,000 bras. Now, how much is the average bra? If you look from the dollar store all the way up to if they wanted to go to the mall, what's an average that women spend? Is it okay, $10? Really? $10. Okay. So at $10, you see what happens. Your number is big. We're going to have $250,000 in bra purchases, and that's in a year. And are you selling that? Because if there's that many bras, 25,000, and you're one of, are you getting at least a fifth of that? Are you selling 5,000 bras? Because if you're only selling 5,000 bras right now, and your bras are $20 to $25 a piece, you need to increase that by how much? You need a bigger piece of the pie. So there's this circle is going to represent how many bras are being purchased, and you're going to get a wedge. All right. And the more wedges you acquire, the more dominance you have in that particular market. And this is selling bras to women that are out there. They're buying them. How do we get them to your store? And she goes, well, if I knew that, then I wouldn't be thinking about selling this business. Said, well, if you're going to sell it, it would be better if the books are looking like you're not cooking the books, but if you were selling more bras, because then there would be more interest in purchasing your business. Makes sense? So if you're not taking advantage of all of the bras that are being sold, you need to increase that pie. What would happen if, because you do things different than Walmart or J.C. Penney's or Dollar Store or Victoria's Secrets. Do they have people? I don't know. But when you go into a higher end place to do your bra shopping, there's somebody there that's going to help you. Trying to figure out the size and, hey, what kind of support do you need? All of that stuff. What are you doing? What activities? Because, you're not going to wear that little strapless number playing tennis with your buddies. That's a sports bra. That's a whatever it is, right? So you are not selling enough bras. What would happen if we told people what you do? Because the difference in going to anywhere else and coming to you is there is personal attention, personally fit. You are going to help them pick out the perfect bra. So they don't have to keep buying 10 to find one they like. You're there to help them, and we're going to tell them there's no reason to buy 10 when you only need one. So why don't you stop by Betty's Bra Boutique? I don't even know what the name. That sounds okay, right? So you stop by Betty's and you get these services. You're selling the benefits of their business. What do you do different than everyone else? We isolated that and we said, come on down. But while we're here, we're going to make you a deal. For every bra that you bring into the store, you get $5. And we'll even let you do $5 for each bra that you buy. So $5 is coming off the price of that bra. And if the bra was 25, ding, 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 guess what? Okay, everybody's following along. We're giving them that discount that people are going, oh, I'll give you 10%, I'll give you 20%. You figure out where that margin is and you say, you know what, we're going to take these, we're going to have them professionally cleaned, or we're going to donate them to the women's shelter. So she not only is going to sell more bras, because people are going to come in, they're going to go, look, this was only $1. Ha, 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 ha. She's giving me $5 for it. It doesn't matter where it came from. The fact of the matter is you get people in your store, you sell them on that service that you are so much better at than the other people, that competition that is out there, and you gain more pieces of the pie. And it's one at a time. You're just chiseling away at it, one customer at a time. They tell a friend, and then they tell a friend. And sooner or later, you win the game, my friend, because now instead of selling 10% or 15% of the bras that are being purchased, you have 30 or 35%, and you just doubled your sales and gain customers that are going to bring their children in. Oh, wait, that could be another promotion. You know what? Times change. And as your little girl becomes a young lady, bring her into Betty's, what do we call it? Betty's Brassiere Boutique? No, Bra Boutique. See, now I don't even know what we called it. Anyhow, stop into Betty's. Maybe it was a long name. We need to shorten that. But then we have to think of a connection between Betty's and bras. How do you get there? Do you have a little jingle? Don't mess with Betty's bras unless you own them. But even then, you don't have to because the adjustment's that easy. Whatever. I don't know. I'm just thinking outside the box, and that's what that whole promotion got people thinking. Look, there's enough. Don't tell me people aren't buying it. If you see them using it, they're just not buying it from you. And so I took that philosophy and I started listening to Roy Williams, the Wizard of Ads guy, not the coach, but Roy Williams had so many examples of overcoming obstacles. And you learn things and you pick up little pieces of knowledge from people. And like I said, Phil was good. I went out with him selling stuff and he did a great job. But then I turned into that person where I took those tools, put them in my toolbox, and designed my own tools. I said, that's not the only use for this, right? You could be like my wife and have a butter knife in the toolbox. So in case you have a flathead screw you need to screw in. Well, it'll work on the other ones if you put it on don't do that. And she'll go, well, I used that screwdriver, but the bit was, you didn't use the right bit. What? All right. We talked about tape measures today. I said, you know these kids from? It's 6 4/8. Teach your children to read a tape measure. Okay, it goes beyond the ruler because when they start going, okay, that's 3 feet, 4 half with a little hash mark, and you go, but they have to learn. So anyhow, do that. Sales. This is why radio and I got along so well because I loved thinking outside the box like that. I love coming up with a what would happen if, because if you come up with those about any business, I don't care what business you have, and I have done this with people. When I was selling radio, I'd go in and say, what's your biggest problem? Don't have people in here. Okay. When the people come in, what percentage of those people are purchasing something? Are they coming in? They were called looky-loos. Remember that looky-loos? You say that to your children now and they don't know what you're talking about. There is a guy on YouTube and he's talking to his daughter and he brings up things like, what are yellow pages? And it's things like that. You come up with words or phrases and your kids are all, what are you talking about? And so anyhow, little side note on kids going, what do you mean, Dad? I thought that was all fake. And I started doing it with our youngest. And she goes, I don't know what that is. And I go, huh. So we teach her something about the old people, right? We talk microwaves. And she goes, well, didn't you know better? How old were you? And I go, you know what, child, that doesn't matter. Microwaves weren't around. Not a household appliance when I was a little kid. And when we got one, it was all exciting. And the first thing that went in it, okay, bacon was the first thing. And I said, you can microwave bacon and it doesn't make a big mess. And look at all the grease in these towels. And my mom's all, squeeze that into that little container by the stove. No, she didn't do that. But that was there, right? You have bacon grease sitting in the little cup. So that's awesome. Did you double strain that, triple strain it? And you realize if not, you have little bits of bacon and bacteria and you're just going to cook with that. And then Really, that's a great thought. Way to go. Yeah. So I guess some of those thoughts were happening way back when. But anyhow, I had the microwave. My dad had this brilliant idea. He used to bowl all the time. They owned a bowling alley for a while even. But anyhow, they have this little stickum stuff, and it comes in a little tub, kind of like Carmex, where you unscrew the lid and it's the waxy stuff in it. Well, that's what this was. But you do that, and it makes your fingertips sticky. You throw a fingertip ball, you're not putting your whole, up to the second knuckle. It's just that first knuckle, and you can get better lift on the ball and do all that fancy bowling stuff. But this little stickum stuff helped you hold on to the ball, so you didn't have to grip it quite as tight, and it was just you were more relaxed and you were hitting your mark and you were bowling. And yeah, we'll talk bowling some other time. But he took this and it had dried out, and he purchased another one that was in his bowling bag. But he goes, I wonder what would happen if I put a little bit of water in this and put it in the microwave for a little bit. I bet it'd soften that stuff right up. And I go, let me see, let me think. I'm going to back up and watch this happen because I didn't know. And he cranks the microwave, and I'm standing back a little bit. And he's watching it. And he goes, how long do you think? Boom! And this thing exploded in the microwave, and wax goes all over. And so we're all freaking out. We're trying to scrape it off the side. We probably scraped through, and we had some kind of weird radioactive particles out there. Maybe that's how all of it started with me. But anyhow, he blew this thing up. And I was telling my daughter about this when we talked microwaves the other night. My wife said, you've told that story. I said, I have told that story hundreds of times. If I've told it once, it's in the hundreds, maybe even like 400. I don't know. It's just one of those funny stories. When microwaves come up, somebody goes, you know how stupid I was? One time I took this egg and I thought, hey, let's hard boil an egg. We'll put it in the microwave. We'll crank that puppy on and we'll see what happens. And so it's sitting in there for a little bit and looking at it, and it's like wobbling around, and I'm thinking it's doing it. It's cooking this egg, and I didn't have to boil water. It's awesome. And you go, that's probably long enough, because you don't know, you can't see through the shell. So you go, oh, it's hot. And so took that thing over by the sink and said, I wonder if it's done. Let's tap this egg that's been in the microwave for however long it was in there, and we're going to tap it on the counter. And let's see, physics is going to come into play, right? Some kind of scientific, oh crap moment happens, because that egg hits the counter and it goes poof, and it is on the ceiling, it's on the curtains, it is on the counters, it is on the countertops, it is on the floor, it is all over my shirt, my face, my hair, but it is hot. So when you have this hot egg smack you in the face and you're trying to get it, you take that towel that you were holding the egg in and you get it off your face and you look around and you go, oh, mama's not going to be happy with this one. Good thing my dad put that other crap in the microwave, because I could say, well, I wasn't the first one to destroy anything. But it wasn't the microwave, but it was, I don't know, a half-hour cleanup job. And I thought I was going to be all cool with this, right? And get it all cleaned up before anybody got home, but it didn't work that way. And my daughter said, how old were you when you did that? And I said, I don't know. And it doesn't matter what number I throw at you, because she goes, I think you should have known better. Yeah, I probably should have known better, but I didn't. So anyhow, it's one of those stories. You have to laugh at yourself, or everyone else will just laugh at you. You know what, boys and girls? It's been one of those goofy little, hey, I have a few minutes to hop in here and talk. I have a volleyball game I get to go to here in a few minutes. Wife's going to get off work and pick me up. We're going to run over and watch volleyball. I haven't got to see that in a while. It's my wife's favorite sport to watch our daughter play, because not only is she really, really good, at what she does. She has a blast playing it. It's a fast game. They're varsity, so they know what the heck's going on and they're good. You're doing that. Yeah, it's like, well, don't. Oh, that was sneaky. One of those things back and forth. It's fun, and we're going to go experience that, and then we'll get back and do whatever else we need to do before we get up and start this whole thing over again. But wanted to just chime in about this bra story. I know it took a weird path and curve over to a little change in lane things, and getting back into all of this is fun for me because there's some funny stories. We need to talk about what's in the box. Um, there was a metal box, and it was 2 feet by 2 feet. It was a cube, and it had two eye bolts sticking out of the top of it, and it was a white box that said nothing. It was just this white box, and it had eye bolts on the bottom of it. And I'm all, what are we doing? And he said, what's in the box? I go, I don't know. What's in the box? He said, well, that's what we're going to find out. And we'll talk about that next time. That sound like a plan? All right. I probably will forget that I said that I would do that next time. But if you want to continue with the funny radio stories and some of the sales pitches, and we had the radio station and we called Bounty up and we said, we have a problem. I'm holding this paper towel roll and it says Bounty, the quick picker-upper. It is not the quick picker-upper. It is the quicker picker-upper, and I want to know who changed it and why, because you made me a liar on the radio. So we turned it into this big bit, and we talked to the company, and we recorded this and asked their permission, and we got to play it. And they said the reason that it is the quick picker-upper, not the quicker picker-upper on this package is because the art people had, when they designed it, they had something over the top. They changed some weird flowery pattern or whatever, and there wasn't room. And I go, really? There's not room on this check that I owe you either. So I'm on a partial no. That's a bad example. But anyhow, here we are, boys and girls, at the end of the road for today. So join me next time. Make sure you tell a friend what we're doing. HCRD.online. We're everywhere now. And the kids are helping me make sure we stay everywhere. So just tell a friend if they're interested in the prostate cancer side of life. Send them to the page. They're labeled. They'll know what to look for. And if we're just doing goofy radio stories, I'm going to think about that. And, oh, I have another one for you. When the owner of the radio station fell down a flight of stairs and said, Steve, get me out of here without anyone knowing. You may have to remind me on that one or we won't get there. But you know what? A lot of weird, funny stories. And I love the sales stories because we did some really cool stuff. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about life and what makes it funny, what makes it hurt, and what makes you happy that you're here to breathe every day. So you guys, you be good. And we will talk next time.